So good morning, everybody. Welcome to our temporary space for Toronto East York Community Council meetings for the next two sessions. Please bear with us as we try to make this work. My name is Councillor Chris Moyes. I'm the chair of the Toronto and East York Community Council. We have quorum. I'm now calling meeting 26 to order. And again, welcome to everyone. Today's meeting is being held by video conference and in person at City Hall and in Council Chamber. This meeting is also being live streamed on at youtube.com/Toronto City Council Live. Although we may be meeting in different locations today, the Toronto and East York Community Council would like to acknowledge that the land we are meeting on is the traditional territories of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. As a Caribbean Canadian, I am committed to continually acting in solidarity with our African, Caribbean, and Black communities seeking freedom and reparative justice in light of the history and ongoing legacy of slavery that continues to impact our communities across Canada. As part of this commitment, I would also like to acknowledge that not all people came to these lands as migrants and settlers. Specifically, I wish to acknowledge those of us who came here involuntarily, particularly those brought to these lands as a result of the transatlantic slave trade and slavery. In support of the City of Toronto's ongoing efforts to confront anti-Black racism, I pay tribute to those ancestors of African, Caribbean, and Black origins and descent. If you are registered to speak at today's meeting, please listen for me to call your name. I will call speakers in the order they appear on the list. The list of speakers can be viewed online by visiting Toronto and East York Community Council page at toronto.ca/council and clicking the speakers box for today's meeting. Members, the City Clerk has provided all agenda materials on toronto.ca/council and on CMP, the Clerk's meeting portal. Clerk's IT staff are available to members if you need help with your devices. I also want to remind you to please submit and approve your motions by email. Staff are available at tycc@toronto.ca to help with motions. And again, members, as we are meeting in the council chambers, please note that you will be able to control your microphone as you would in committee rooms. So I will not be turning it on and off from here. Are there any declarations of interest under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act? If you have an interest, please raise your hand or unmute your mic and indicate the item number and the nature of the interest. Seeing none. May I have a motion to confirm the minutes from our meeting on September 18, 2025? Councillor Perks, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Before we begin the agenda run-through, may I have a motion to add new business items TE 26.55 to TE 26.59 to the agenda? Councillor Sachs, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Items TE 26.1 to TE 26.13 and TE 26.15 to TE 26.17 are timed. So we'll begin the run-through at item TE 26.14.
Mr. Chair, could I get somebody from IT down here, please, to help me get on CMP? Thank you.
Okay. So we have speakers on item 14, so we will hold that down. We'll then proceed to T 26.18, changes to Business Improvement Area Board of Management. I'm going to have moved by Councillor Perks. Any opposed? Carried. T 26.19, 2760 Dundas Street West, construction staging area. Moved by Councillor Perks. Any opposed? Carried. T 26.20, 70 Caledonia Park Road, construction staging area. Moved by Councillor Bravo. Any opposed? Pardon?
All good.
Council probably moved that item. Any opposed? Carried. T 26.21, 629 Adelaide Street West, encroachment appeal, privacy fence. Deputy Mayor Malik.
I'd like to move the staff recommendations, please.
Any opposed? Carried. T 26.22, 610 Bloor Street West, encroachment appeals. Council Sachs.
I move the staff recommendations.
Any opposed? Carried. T 26.23, 370 Queen Street, Queens K West, designation of fire route, amendment to Chapter 880 Fire. Deputy Mayor Malik. Item 23.
23, sorry, move staff recommendations. Thank you.
Any opposed? Carried. T 26.24, 55 Belmont Street, designation of fire routes and amendment to Chapter 880.
I move the staff recommendations.
Any opposed? Carried. T 26.25, advancing local infrastructure improvements in Liberty Village in advance of FIFA World Cup 2026.
I'd like to hold this item, please.
Okay, we're going to hold this item. T 26.26, accessible parking spaces, October 2025.
I'll move approval.
Any opposed? Carried. T 26.27, Janet Avenue parking amendments, Councilor Bravo.
I'll move the recommendations.
Any opposed? Carried.
I think you might have missed 26, Speaker, unless there's.
No, we got that one. That was
Okay.
Council Perks. We got that. T 26.28, parking amendments, 900 Bay Street, a McDonald Block reconstruction project. Council Sachs.
I move the staff recommendations.
Any opposed? Carried. T 26.29, parking amendments, 900 Bay Street, McDonald Block reconstruction project. Council Sachs.
I move approval.
Any opposed? Carried. T 26.30, Bridleblane Street parking amendments. I'm going to move staff's recommendation on this item. Any opposed? Carried. T 26.31, St. Helens Avenue commercial loading zone. Councilor Bravo.
Move approval.
Okay. Any opposed? Carried. T 26.32, Adelaide Street East, Lombard Street, and Church Street on-street parking review. I do have an amendment for that. Can you post it online? It's really just changing some parking amendments for the mosque area. Any opposed? Carried. T 26.33, Adelaide Street West and Portugal Square, always stop control. Deputy Mayor Malik.
I'd like to hold this down, please.
Okay. It shall be done. T 26.34, temporary adjustments to parking regulations and extension of permit parking hours. 2025 Disturbed Winter Village. Deputy Mayor Malik.
I'd like to move the staff recommendation, please.
Any opposed? Carried. T 26.35, temporary adjustments to traffic and parking regulations for 2025 District Winter Village.
Move the staff recommendations, please.
Any opposed? Carried. T 26.36, 980 Dufferin Street and 1141 Bloor Street West. Temporary traffic parking amendments. Councilor Bravo.
Move the staff recommendations.
Any opposed? Carried. T 26.37, temporary adjustments to traffic bylaw regulations on Westmount Avenue between Amherst Avenue and Rogers Road. Councilor Matlow.
I'll move the recommendations.
Any opposed? Carried. T 26.38, traffic management in Ward 14 related to the King Street East and Church Street intersection project. It was deferred twice. It's now back here. Councilor Fletcher.
Staff have asked me to defer that another time, Chair.
The next meeting?
Yes.
Okay, there's a motion on the...
This is affects both of our wards.
Okay, all those in favor of deferral? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. T 26.39, dedication of lands as public highway and traffic amendments, Lakeshore Boulevard. Councilor Fletcher.
I'm just going to hold that.
Hold. Okay. T T 26.4, pedestrian way designation and streetscape improvements, leader lane between Wellington Street and Colburn Street. I'm going to move staff's recommendation on this item. Any opposed? Carried. T 26.41, streetscape improvements and parking amendments, Colburn Street between Church Street and Leader Lane. I'm going to move staff's recommendations on this item. Any opposed? Carried. T 26.42, Ben Landman Avenue traffic calming, speed hump. Councillor Bradford.
I'd like to move staff recommendations, please.
Any opposed? Carried. T 26.43, rescinding appointments made in error to the Community Center 55 Board of Management. Councillor Bradford.
Move staff recommendations, please.
Any opposed? Carried. T 26.44, appointment to the Community Center 55 Board of Management. Councillor Bradford.
Move the recommendations, please.
Any opposed? Carried. T 26.45, appointment of public members to the William H. Bill Bolton Arena Board. Councillor Sachs.
I move the recommendations.
Any opposed? Carried. T 26.46, appointments to the 519 Church Street Community Center Board of Management. I'm going to move staff's recs. Any opposed? Carried. T 26.47, appointment of public members to the Ted Reeve Community Arena Board. Councillor Bradford, if you get, go ahead.
Thanks. I have a motion to move here, please.
Okay. All those in favor of the amendments? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Item as amended. Favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. T 26.48, expanding the community safety zone on Dufferin Street. Councillor Bravo.
Move approval, please, Chair.
Any opposed? Carried. T 26.49, improving traffic flow on College Street between Dufferin Street and Gladstone Avenue. Councillor Bravo.
Move approval, please.
Any opposed? Carried. T 26.50, St. Clair Avenue West Park Amendment. Councillor Bravo.
Move approval, Chair.
Any opposed? Carried. T 26.51, Barton Avenue traffic calming. Councillor Sachs.
I'm deferring this item till the next meeting.
Okay. Wait for the motion to come on screen. Okay, that's fine. All those in favor of deferral? Opposed? Carried. T 26.52, Children's Safety in Jean Sibelius Square. Councillor Sachs.
I move the recommendations to my letter.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. T 26.53, Pedestrian Safety at University of Toronto. Councillor Sachs.
Moving the recommendations in my letter.
Any opposed? Carried. Item 26.54 has speakers. We'll hold that down.
I'm going to be withdrawing it in any event.
We'll have to come back to that because there's speakers on this item. T 26.55, naming of parquet at 55B Brock Avenue in honor of Pat Capone. Council Perks.
I'll move the staff recommendation.
Any opposed? Carried. T 26.56, implementation of permit parking on Clifton Road between Glenrose Avenue and the south end of Clifton Road. Council Sachs.
Moving the recommendations.
All those opposed? Any opposed? Carried. T 26.57 has speakers. T 26.58, Palmerston Area Character Study and Heritage Evaluation. Councillor Sachs.
I'm moving the recommendations.
Any opposed? Carried. T 26.59, park amendments, Dentonia Park Avenue, north side between Avonlea Boulevard and Sibley Avenue. Councillor Bradford.
Move the recommendations, please.
Any opposed? Carried. Alrighty. So we do have one item to add. Councillor Bradford has an item to add. That's
Yeah,
one of the.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. I'd like to add that to the agenda.
Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
May I over here, may I make just a point of order and a request? There's one small, quick item that a resident is waiting to just hear the results. and he has a personal matter that he needs to go to, which is important to his life. Could we just deal with that item just to kind of get it done with?
Sorry, which one is that?
Sorry, of course, it's TE 26.17. It's a offense exemption at 86 Kilbury Road.
Okay. Is a timed item.
Oh, it's timed? Okay.
So once we get to 10:30, we can.
10:30?
It can be the first one.
I appreciate that.
Okay, just remind me,
Thank you.
because I forget.
Thank you.
And also, Mr. Chair, as mentioned, I will be deferring item 6 for more consultation with the local residents. So if anybody's here, it's going to be heard at 10 o'clock, but I just wanted everybody to know that first.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Councilor Fletcher. Okay, so we're going to go back to item number 1, T 26.1, naming of an existing public lane north of King Street East, extending westerly from Bright Street. And we do have a speaker on this item. We don't have a speaker on this item? Okay, it was just time for 9:30. Okay. I'm going to move staff's recs on this item. Any opposed? That's carried. Okay. The next item has speakers on it. T 26.2, 26. Oh my goodness, what time is it? Okay. We're ahead of schedule today. No breaks, Councilor Fletcher. Let's see if we could find some other items to perhaps move here. T 26.14, response to City Council direction on the EX 25.4, Rapid TO's transit priority on Dufferin Street and Bathurst Street. We have speakers on this item. Satardel Roy, are you here? Mr. Roy, are you here? Going once, going twice. Okay. Councilor Perks. Going to move that item.
I have a motion, Chair.
Okay, sorry, Councilor Grabber, go ahead.
Yes, clerks has it. I'm moving that City Council directed. Well, I'll wait for it. I'll read it while it's displayed. City Council direct the General Manager Transportation Services to work with the local councillor to create a community working group and report on progress by the end of the first quarter of 2026 to develop a unified set of changes to address permit, parking, supply, speeding, and traffic infiltration issues in relation to Rapid TO on Dufferin Street implementation.
Mr. Chair?
Okay,
Mr. Chair?
Councilor Perks has a,
Could I just ask that it be local councillors, because 2 of us have Dufferin Street, or 3 of us, I think.
yes, a friendly amendment, make it plural, councilors. Councilor Grabber, you okay with that?
I do agree with that.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Bravo. Okay, the clerks will make the changes now. Once it's on the screen, we'll vote on it. Councilor Sachs, do you have a motion on this item as well?
Yes, I have a motion.
Okay. Display it.
The reason for this motion is that there are a number of religious institutions that are located, affected by Rapid TO, and are unsure how they will be able to continue to marshal funeral processions. So I'm asking the staff to continue to work with them to develop a plan.
Okay. Any questions on the motion? Seeing that. Okay. Okay, we're going to display the motions in the order that they appear.
Yes, sorry. Sorry, after this, can we get to my withdrawal of the Roxburgh item? Thank you.
Let's just try to get through one at a time here. All those in favor of Councilor Bravo's motion? Approved, opposed? That carries. The second motion, Councilor Sack. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Item is amended. All those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried. Thank you. Okay. What time is it? Is your item a timed item?
No.
Which item is it?
Number 54. I advised the clerk a couple of weeks ago that this item was going to be withdrawn, and I've
Okay.
advised the community as well.
Okay, so we have a motion on the screen. All those in... Sorry,
Sam Wise.
item 54. Samir Wise, you here? The item is being withdrawn, so you may wish to speak on it still or not, but it's being withdrawn. Are you here?
I don't see him.
No? Okay. So all those in favor of withdrawing the item? Opposed? That's carried.
Thank you.
Okay, it's 10 o'clock. Let's go back to the timed items. So item T 26.2, 260 to 270, and 274 to 322 King Street West official plan and zoning bylaw amendment application. We do have a speaker on this item. Carla Tamayo, are you here? Okay, you have 5 minutes.
Good morning. Good morning, Community Council and staff. My name is Carla Tamayo. I'm a planner with Bowles Fields here on behalf of the owner and the applicant. I'll be brief with my remarks. We just want to take this opportunity to express our appreciation for staff's assistance at this point, and we're excited to keep working with the city to bring this project forward. Furthermore, we have reviewed the staff report and agree with staff's conclusion that the development is appropriate and desirable from a planning and urban design perspective, that it represents good planning. So that's all I have. Thank you for your time, and I'm here for any questions.
Thank you. Any questions of the deputant? Seeing none. Deputy Mayor Malik, this is your item.
I have our items today, Chair.
Oh, yes, you have to
Yes,
step
I
out.
do.
Go ahead.
Yes, I just,
Pleasure.
on her behalf, move the staff recommendations.
Okay. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. The next item is T 26.3, 55 Eglinton Avenue East, official planning and zoning bylaw amendment application. We have two speakers on this item. Anne James, are you here? Okay, 5 minutes.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of Community Council. My name is Anne James, and I'm a planner at Bowles Fields and the agent representing the owner. I'm joined here today by my colleague, Mike Dror, who's a partner at Bowles Fields. We are pleased to have worked collaboratively with staff to bring this proposal forward over the past year. And the staff recommendation is a product of careful review, feedback, and discussions throughout the application process. The proposal before you today amends an existing approval for a 50-story mixed-use building, and the original approval provided for 6,000 square meters of office replacement, but in light of the changing office needs across the GTA, the revised proposal will bring forward a combination of non-residential uses and/or affordable housing in lieu of that office replacement. The proposal achieves overarching policy directives, including balancing objectives by supporting both growth and community needs. We are pleased to be here today to support staff's recommendation for approval of the proposal, and we are aware of a motion from Councillor Matlow to redirect the Section 37 contribution towards improvements to the rear public laneway, and are in support of this motion. We'd be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for the deputant? Seeing none. Thank you. Mike Dror, also from Brookfield, is... Okay, thank you. Councilor Matlow, go ahead.
I have a motion.
Okay. On the screen.
And I move it with the motion.
Okay. All those in favor of the amendment? Opposed? Carried. Item as amended, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. T 26.4, 861 Avenue Road, zoning bylaw amendment application. We have speakers on this item. Chris Langley. Chris Langley? Okay, you have 5 minutes.
Morning, Mr. Speaker and Council. I just wanted to also take a brief moment just to thank City of Toronto staff, City Planning, as well as Councillor Matlow's office for the support and guidance through the iterative development review process. To bring us to the concept that's before Council this morning, your time and efforts are very much appreciated. We're also happy to redevelop the former gas station into a 9-unit infill townhouse development that in a great low-rise neighborhood has access to new transit options in a location where the city anticipates new growth as well. I'm here to answer any questions that staff or council may have on the application. And again, thank you very much for everyone's time.
Thank you. Any questions of the deputant? Seeing none, thank you. Any other speakers on this item? Seeing none. Councillor Matlow.
I move it.
Okay. Move staff's recs.
Yeah, I don't believe I have any amendments.
Okay.
No, this, by the way, townhouses in Toronto St. Paul's, incredible. Just incredible.
Is what?
Just townhouses.
Oh, wow.
No big controversy.
Wow.
It's a gas station.
That's amazing.
Wow.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Congratulations. T 26.5, 1099 Broadview Avenue Official Plan and Zoning Bylaw Amendment Application. We have speakers on this item. Liza Pachoff.
That's fine.
Liza Pachoff.
Thank you.
Online, I think. She's here in person.
Hi, can you hear me?
Oh, you're online. Yes, go ahead.
Yes.
Lisa.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, my name is Liza Pachoff.
Sorry.
To speak on this item as a background, I've been a resident of East York since 1991 and in Broadview North since 2001. And I am, very concerned about the proposed development at 1099 Broadview Avenue. This project just keeps getting bigger, and currently they're looking to build a 5-story podium with 2 towers at 14 and 16 stories each, totaling over 300 units, which would sit directly next to or almost on top of many single-family homes and low-rise residences. This would dramatically alter the character and scale of this neighborhood. The proposed towers would overshadow homes, significantly reducing sunlight, privacy, and negatively impacting the quality of life for existing residents. Broadview Avenue is already extremely congested, and it's worsened by recent lane reductions. Our schools are at capacity, and transit is overcrowded. The construction alone would disrupt local businesses, pedestrian safety, and traffic flow for years to come. Upon reviewing the approved and proposed developments on Broadview North, just in the small area north of Broadview Station and south of Cosburn Avenue, there are at least 6 projects totaling over 1,300 units coming to the street. So my question is, has any of the studies on the impact to traffic, transit, schools, infrastructure, water, waste, electricity taken into account that there could easily be 2,500 new residents in less than a 10-block radius?
Are you finished, Liza?
Yeah, I don't know if anyone can answer any of those questions, but I would urge the council to consider the long-term consequences of this development. In addition to the fact that up to very recently, this side of Broadview Avenue had a bylaw preventing buildings taller than 5 stories. All the tallest buildings that have been approved are on the opposite side of the street, on the west side of the street. The east side has been preserved for low-rise towers, and this would be a complete shift from that.
Okay, thank you. Councilors did not answer questions from deputant at
Yes.
this time. Any questions for the deputant?
Yeah, I just want to.
Council Fletcher does have a,
There was an earlier application, I'm looking at you on the screen. There was an earlier application that I think you were probably involved with, and now this is an amended application, but you've not really had a chance to discuss that with the planning department or had a community meeting about that. And all the questions that you've raised, have they looked at traffic? Have they looked at all these different things? So I think you might like to be able to do that before this gets heard, correct?
Agree, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
okay, thank you. Up next is Claire Ricker. Claire Ricker. Okay, 5 minutes, go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chair, community members, members of the public, city staff. My name is Claire Ricker, and I'm a planning associate with Bousfields, Inc. We're representing the landowner of this site, 1099 Broadview Avenue. I appreciate that we have other speakers and there may be more opportunities for questions, but I first wanted to use my time to thank planning staff for their efforts on this file, particularly Shauna Kerr, who helped us through the evolution of this file since its inception. The development proposal before you is reflective of an iterative design process that is informed by the current mid-rise building design guidelines and is representing a commitment to thoughtful city building. We reviewed the report prepared by city staff, as well as the 6 recommendations before you this morning. We have no concerns with the recommendations and look forward to advancing this project. However, I will be available for any questions if there are any. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for the deputant? Seeing none.
Yes, sorry.
Oh, sorry,
My
Council.
file.
Go ahead, Councilor
Look
Fletcher.
to your left. I just wondered, I don't think there's been a community consultation on this. There wasn't originally. I don't know if you were the planner on the first. Were you the planner when this first came forward?
Bousfields was the planner with the initial applicant and the former landowner, but it switched representatives from our office once Equiton. Yeah.
So I think that it might be helpful to have a more structured conversation with the community because this just came in as an amendment and there's been no community conversation. Would you be willing to attend that?
Yes, we would.
Great, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Seeing no further questions. Alex Perlman. 5 minutes.
Good morning. I am Alex Perlman. I'm the property owner, adjacent property to the south of 1099 at 1089 Broadview. I do have plans for developing that property. I know that there is the Broadview Avenue planning study, which recommends 6-story buildings. There are approved developments that are higher than that. What I'm planning to do is a 7-story development, so half the height of the one that's proposed here. I did meet with the city previously about that plan. It's still in the works, but I'm working on funding and what's needed to put the project together. I too have lived in the area for decades, since 1976 in this small area. I love the area, and I did a development 3 blocks to the south. So the former Don Hall, which has been converted to townhouse condos. So I have 4 points I want to address regarding this project. The first one is the parkland choices. When I met with the city and staff previously, now I don't know if this drawing that I've put here can be projected. Yeah, so maybe it's better if I turn it. So there was parkland. This drawing was on the city site a month ago, but it's been pulled down from the documents for this project. I see that, I know there's been talk about this park, that green area there. And the plan has changed, so no longer is there a park there. In lieu dedication instead. So I had spent what for me is a small fortune on the existing building renovation and their existing tenants that have windows on that side. The revised project would be very close to my building and would eliminate that park. So we definitely feel disappointed about that. We would love to have it added back. That green space would be most welcome, and it would create greater separation from my property, butting this proposed quite high tower. So that's the first point that I have. The second one is it'd be great to know what the schedule for the project is and activity on the site from now to completion. The third element that certainly ties in with the comments made by the neighbor that's also a neighbor adjacent to my property, Liza spoke. I did speak with her mother-in-law recently, great concern of some of the neighbors about disruption of the construction. So I would like to know what steps are being taken to ameliorate noise and just the shaking of construction. And the last point is, I know Bosefield was presenting here. I have reached out to Equiton, that's the current owners. I'd love to be able to coordinate our efforts, and anybody within Equiton or its consultants or project partners, I'm certainly welcome to reach out to me. So I don't know if there are any questions about the points that I've made, but that's what I wanted to say.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Deputy? Councillor Fletcher, go
Yes,
ahead.
I will. There had been an approval on this site, but it wasn't built, correct? Earlier, there was an approved plan that didn't get started under construction. And now this is a second revised plan with a different owner.
You're talking about 1099?
Correct, yes, because that's what's in front of us, 1099. Yeah.
Right.
So there's no guarantee that this is only looking for approval. Construction may or may not happen. We've just had that happen at this site. It was approved but not constructed. Now it's a second approval. You have Whistler's down the street that has had a whole number of approvals, no construction for quite a long time. So you just said that you don't know what the construction timeline is, and I'm just referring that nobody knows what that is. We had an ability to construct here earlier, and it wasn't done, right?
Right, I appreciate that. So just as it unfolds, if the residents could be notified of the progress of the schedule, that'd be really helpful.
That's great. I will put a construction management plan on here when we get to that point, but just to be clear, it's not a construction plan that we have here. I just want to make sure you know that.
Thanks so much for that.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. No further questions. Next up is Dorothy and Doug Littlechin. Okay. I see Dorothy is pointing at Doug, so Doug, come on up. You have 5 minutes.
Good morning, councilors. I'm Doug Little. I live at 26 Burley Avenue. I had a former life as a school trustee many years ago, so I'm familiar with shade studies and school accommodation grants and things like that. It was on the, I hate to say it, the legacy Toronto board of the 1980s, but still these things stick in your mind. I have a petition here from over 60 people, and it's growing every day, to simply not rezone the area at all. Just leave it at the proposed 6 to 8 floors, and that would nip any high towers in the bud. We don't see this development as the kind of thing that Jane Jacobs would want, would not want, a tower in the park kind of development. We don't like it. We don't think it's the kind of housing that Mike Moffett would want, the missing middle. We don't see it as that. There's developments all down Broadview of double rows of townhouses that are recent, there's a condo building by the Spanish church across from Broadview Station that's about 5 or 6 floors. I'm sure the developer made money on it. I don't worry about that. But what we are primarily concerned about are things like the shade studies. The shade from this building, depending on the time of year and the time of day, goes all the way to Logan Avenue and Gamble Avenue. It's amazing how far that goes. We don't like it. School capacity. Jackman School is one of the most popular schools in the city. It's always full. People are bending the rules every day to try and get in there. Chester School is full. If somebody wanted to go to the Catholic schools like Holy Name, it's also full. There used to be a sign on the Minto Sky building across the street that says, please don't count on being accommodated in local schools if you decide to buy here. I think it's a requirement that the city puts up when the schools are full. So there's things like that. Jackman, we are not bothered by the height of the Minto Sky building or the co-op that are across the street, which are quite tall, because they overlook Pottery Road and so forth. They don't back onto a neighborhood. But the people on Burley and Floyd Avenues are very upset at the potential for this building. The privacy concerns are paramount. The building encroaches enormously on our street, right into the. It is a matter that it is in my backyard. I don't like it. It's going to throw us into shade most of every day. It's not a human scale development. The angular building that it goes off and on at the corner of Mortimer and Broadview is more to the scale, even though it's causing problems. There are traffic problems already every day in the area. We simply don't want this development. If you look at the other developments, the high rises that were built in the 60s, all down the lower part of Broadview, we can't do anything about that now, and they don't encroach much. They look over the valley. They don't look at back. They don't shade back into the neighborhoods at all. So, if anybody we sent in the electronic copy of the petition. If you want the hard copy, the real signature copy, I have it here for any of your staff, and I'd be happy to take any questions. But the upshot of it is the neighborhood's in a bit of an uproar, and we don't want any development there other than the original plan.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Deputy?
Yes,
Councilor Fletcher? Hi.
There hasn't actually been a chance for anybody to meet on this because the original plan was approved. The owner decided not to build it and sold it, and now the new owner's coming in to tweak the application. But I'm hearing you're thinking this is far more than a tweak.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask.
We don't want the kind of trade-offs that you often get in development, like the developer asks for more floors than they expect to get. The staff decides to knock a couple floors off and call it a compromise. We don't want that. We want to stay with the original plan. And so therefore, we oppose rezoning as well as the potential development.
The new rezoning.
The new rezoning.
Yes, it's currently rezoned to the original plan.
Currently, yeah.
So as I asked the first deputant, as I asked Liza, I think that would be helpful for everybody to be able to work over this, everybody to see the shade studies, for you to be able to ask all the questions. So I'm going to ask that there be a community consultation on this change. It's not a standard process, but I think that would help everybody.
Well, at the very least, I appreciate that, but it's the absolute minimum that we would expect.
Yes, it's not standard, but we will do that. And then also go over all of the changes, the provincial changes in planning, since the Broadview Avenue planning study was approved. many years ago.
Okay.
Thank you for being here. And the clerk will get your petition, I think. Could we ask the clerk to take that petition?
Sure. Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you very much for coming.
Is Helen Tang. Helen Tang, are you here online? 5 minutes.
Hello, sorry, I am online. Good morning, Mr. Speaker. Thank you to everyone who is here. This is my first time doing one of these, so please bear with me. I am at 22A Burley Avenue, so some of my neighbors I know are here. I am one of the single homes that I think the first speaker mentioned, where we would completely lose any sort of sunlight visibility. I'm here on behalf of my parents who couldn't be here because they are at work today. I've lived in the community, I think, since 2011, and I've lived at that home since high school. I went to university, and I recently just moved out, but I was at the first community consultation when this first was brought up in 2023, and we haven't heard any updates since, as of most recently, which I think is a little, not appalling, but it's a little concerning that there wasn't any community input on this, as the counselor has mentioned and my other speakers have mentioned. I also reviewed the applicant's own technical studies, and it's clear that the project is going to have serious negative impacts on the surrounding neighborhood, specifically, as some of my other neighbors have mentioned, noise shadowing, traffic, and overall livability. In the applicant's technical study, you can see that they have proposed emergency generators that would actually exceed the provincial noise limits, up to 21 decibels above the allowed nearby homes. The study also predicts that the outdoor amenity noise levels would be between 59 and 64 dBA, which exceeds the 55 dBA daytime guidelines. Even the co-op that is across from our house on the other side, when the residents are out on their upstairs deck, I can hear them in my house. I can hear them clear as day, middle of the day. They go to sometimes 11 p.m. at night when they have friends over, and I can hear them in my house with all the windows closed. So I cannot only imagine what's going to happen when the backyard is on the other side of my house, and my parents are going to have to live through that, which I don't think they deserve. They love the community. The community has been great to us. And not only that is the sun and shadow impact studies. According to the applicant's own sun and shadow study, the building's height will create significant shadowing on nearby homes between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. during spring and fall. And as we know, spring and fall are the shortest times. This morning I drove to Waterloo for work and the sun wasn't up until 8:30. I go home at night around 5 and it's already starting to be dark. So at that point, do I even get sun in the spring and fall if I'm living in the house? No, essentially I'm not going to get sun at all. And then it's going to be winter. So theoretically, the only time I'm going to get sun now is the summer, which is absolutely ridiculous because right now it's beautiful. We have skylights, we have everything in our house. And that's all going to disappear. And not only that, but people are going to be able to see into my backyard. Okay, my backyard's not going to be my backyard anymore. It's going to be everyone's backyard. And I think that is extremely unfair. I don't think our neighbors should be ridiculed to having people in their own apartment buildings looking down into our own private space. We've never had that issue before. We love the Dollarama. It's a great staple around this community. I go to it all the time. What was once a really bright and peaceful space will now become dark and shadowed. Lastly, transportation and parking impacts. I know that they had a transportation study, but since then, I feel like it's gotten even more congested with the construction from Pave Avenue. 2 buses, the 925 and the 25A, are now going to Broadview Station. Every single time I go to work, which is downtown Toronto, I get on at Hopedale, I get passed by 4 or 5 buses, and by the time it gets to Mortimer, no one is even allowed on the bus. So I cannot imagine the frustration from the people who are already in this neighborhood and who have to commute every single day. We know that they're moving to 4 or 5 times in the office for a lot of residents. And if you can't get on the bus, you're walking 15, 20 minutes to Broadview Station. Once you get to Broadview Station, you wait another 3 or 4 trains until you can get on a train. So although I appreciate the transportation study, it's a different perspective from a resident who actually has lived in the area and who has to deal with it every single day. In addition, the plan also only includes 1 driveway access, which could lead to queuing and turning delays during rush hour. Street parking is already an issue here. All I can imagine is more street parking issues, more needing for parking permits. There's no permit parking on our street right now, but I can imagine that could potentially change and block all of our driveways. I've had my driveway blocked multiple times. In addition, percentage year-over-year increase. I know the applicant put in something in 2024. They've scaled down for this application, but in 2024, you can see their stories increased from 23.10%. They're increasing the total units. They're making more 2 and 3 bedroom units and reducing 1 bedroom units, which only increases the number of people living there. Overall, when the first thing, thank you everyone for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant?
Yes, thank you so much, Helen. Can you just tell me about the decibels again, what the approvals are? That sounded quite extreme.
Yes, so
Or
I took a
not
look at the noise
application,
impact
it's not
study.
approved. It's the request. Go ahead.
Yes, so the proposed emergency generator would exceed the provincial noise limits by a significant margin, up to 21 decibels above the allowed level at nearby homes. So that's for the emergency generators, which understandable would not be all the time, but that would be unfair to residents if they had to hear that. And then they have an outdoor amenity noise levels between 59 and 64, which exceeds the 55 dBA daytime guideline. And it's a very long study, so it took me a while to go through it all because a lot of their studies have good recommendations, but at the end of the day, these are some of the things I'm really concerned about, especially I am right at the back of this proposed development.
Thank you for reading to that depth, all the technical and specifications. And I'll just ask you, you would come to a community consultation and have a chance to discuss this with the city and your neighbors and the developer, correct?
I'd love to, yes.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Fletcher, this is your item.
Yes, I do. I'm just going to speak to that and move a motion unless anybody else has questions.
Nope,
here.
it's you. Go ahead.
Thank you. No, I'm going to hold that down because what I want to do now is have that meeting with the residents, and I'll just speak to it and then I'll move it quickly later once we get it sorted. That this is a big change. There's a number of large sites on Broadview that were considered outside of the Broadview Avenue planning study. I need to better understand how this sits, but there was a development that everybody was fairly happy with. And now this new one has come in. There was just a notice in the Toronto Star and a notice sent to neighbors, and there's never been a chance to really chew on that. And I was very happy that Bousfield said they'd be willing to come, and I hope the new owner is willing to come. There's a whole number of sites here on Broadview, including the neighbors will all know the Whistler site, which was rezoned, I don't know, 8 or years ago or more. It's sitting empty. I believe Dollarama is currently empty. They've emptied that out. So the east side of Broadview is where everybody's had their focus for a long, west side, everybody's had their focus. And now this is all on the east side. So apparently staff have prepared that motion for me. I don't know if the clerks have it. No, but planning staff have prepared that. So Mr. Chair, I'll just hold this. Planning staff have prepared that motion, and then I can quick release that. Let everybody know that that's what will happen. There'll be a meeting for you with the city, one or more meetings before this comes up, because I think I don't like the way this has all happened, and I think there needs to be a much more thorough understanding. And I'm very impressed with Helen because she's read all the technical studies. So we're going to have a very deep dive when we have that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to the next item. Item T 26.6, zoning bylaw amendment for garden suites on Parkmount Road facing Craven Road. We do have, this item is going to be deferred by Council Fletcher, but there is a speaker on this item.
Can you tell everybody what that means, please?
This is going to be deferred perhaps to a later meeting, the next meeting in November. But people can choose to speak to this item now, or they can choose to speak to it in November. So we do have Kim Hall. Are you here? Okay, Allison Humphrey. Craig Race. Nicole Corrado. Nicole Corrado, are you speaking today or next council session?
Hi. I would just like to say that I am pretty much mostly in favor of accessory dwelling units, which I believe is another name for a garden suite, if I'm not mistaken, because it says that, according to this study, they actually save a lot of trees because only 15% of the ones in the study involve tree cutting, and that is 76 trees. Now, that's still a lot of trees. I would like to see if they could perhaps redesign some of the accessory units to be able to save the trees, but you probably could because it's in an already built up area and it's soft density. It avoids some of the sensory accessibility issues that the previous deputant talked about with high rises. And so I think I am in support of accessory dwelling units, and I'm running for the mayor of Beaconsfield, Quebec. And one of the things I would bring in is accessory dwelling units. Accessory dwelling units allow for an accessible form of housing because it allows a person with a disability to have not only custom built accessible home, but it allows the person to also have as much or as little support as they need while still having their own space and their own privacy. And because it's in an already built area, it doesn't involve, a whole lot of construction. It's a great alternative to the big sensory inaccessible high rises that the previous deputant talked about. And it can be built, it can be designed in a way that doesn't involve any trees being cut. It depends on the yard. For example, my backyard, there are some trees in it, but you could probably build another unit, a small, tiny house. You could probably build a tiny house or two in the backyard and not be cutting any trees. You could also turn the garage into an apartment. So there's a lot of options because not everybody can afford their own home. But if you had, grandparents being able to stay with the families and, children being able to stay with the families and even be able to rent out to other people, you could keep families together. You could also solve a lot of the housing crisis because those big condos are for the most part not affordable. But these little accessory dwelling units are, because they're owned. The landlord is usually the person who owns the house, the larger house. So they can set a price to really cheap. I mean, you could rent out your property for $1 a month if you wanted to. Not that many people would do that, but I mean, you could if you wanted to. You could sell it, you could subdivide the lot and sell it for really cheap. And someone who would have their own home that they own. There's all kinds of possibilities with accessory dwelling units. So I do think it's something the City of Toronto absolutely needs to explore.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for the deputant? Seeing none, thank you. Again, this item is being deferred to the next TYCC meeting. There is one other person on the list here, Yvonne McKinnon. Are you here? Did you want to speak today, or do you want to speak at the next when the item comes up next month? Online. Unmute yourself and let us know if you're going to speak today or next session. We're waiting to find out.
Hello?
Hi, Mr. McKinnon.
Hi. Sorry, you cut out there. I didn't.
Did you want to speak today, or do you want to speak at our next TYCC meeting in November? This item is being deferred for one cycle.
Right, okay. I'm just saying that I'm in favor of garden suites along Craven, and I can speak at a later date. Possibly that would be better.
You have to speak either today or next meeting, which is November. You cannot speak both days.
Ah, I see. Then let's defer to November.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Councilor Fletcher, you have a deferral motion?
Yes, I'm going to defer this till November 27th. And that was helpful to hear Mr. McKinnon say he's in favor of garden suites. Yes, I am also in favor of garden suites, having the third largest number of laneway and garden suites built in the city, only after Councillor Bravo and Councillor Sachs. So there's a lot of activity and many approvals. The issue is the through streets, and this all of Park Mountain, Craven.
You're speaking to deferral.
I am
Fletcher.
speaking to my deferral.
Okay.
I'm speaking to my deferral.
All right. Okay.
Sorry, I didn't hear what you first said.
You're speaking to deferral, right?
Yes,
Okay.
I am.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm not clear why you did that.
No, I thought you were just going to defer it to the next meeting. not
I
speak
am,
to
but
it.
I'm speaking to the deferral.
Okay, go ahead.
I think I can. Pretty sure I can. Thank you. Maybe I'll just start again because I lost my train of thought. Just say yes, very much in favor of garden laneway suites, and reiterating that between Councillor Bravo, Sachs, and myself, we have the top 3 number of builds there, many fourplexes, many sixplexes, and very much supportive of all this gentle density. The issue really arose with the through streets and the garden suites, so that in the through street report says they're garden suites but not on laneways. These garden suites would all be on a street. So really what we're trying to do when they're facing Craven is have something that appears to fit better with the road and create housing on both sides of Craven for the future. So I think the deferral will help. I think the folks on Parkmount need a separate conversation. Folks on Craven can have a conversation and a bigger community conversation. I'll be asking planning to assist in those discussions with everybody. The letters that have come in have been very thoughtful with a lot of information. So it would be a very good idea to be able to take that and work with the planners with that info. And with that, I will move that deferral motion. Thank you for your patience, Mr. Chair.
All those in favor of deferral, opposed, carried. Thank you. I'm going to move. Yes.
Point of order.
Yes, I'm right. It's on my list right here.
Thank you, Chair.
T 26.17, 86 Kilberry Road, application for fence exemption. Any speakers on the item? Councilor Matlow, go ahead.
I'd like to move an amendment.
Okay. Staff clerks has it.
To approve.
You want to speak to it? Or? Okay. All those in favor of the amendment? Opposed, carried as amended. All in favor? Opposed, carried. Thank you. Okay. All right. T 26.7, 189, and 195 Old Western Road official plan and zoning bylaw amendment application. Any speakers on the item? Seeing none. Councilor Bravo, it's your item.
Yeah, I'd like to move the recommendations.
Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried. T 26.8, 36 Prince Arthur Avenue, alterations to designated heritage property under Section 42 of the Ontario Heritage Act. Seeing no speakers on this item. Councilor Sachs. Councilor Sachs. Okay, we'll hold this item down. Do we still have quorum? Okay, T 26.9, 5 Robinson Street, residential demolition application. This was deferred a few times. Councillor Fletcher for Deputy Mayor Malik.
Yes, hang on one second, please. That would be item 10 to move staff recommendation.
Item 9.
Oh, sorry, that is deferred till November. Thank you.
All those in favor of deferral to the next meeting? Opposed? Carried. T 26.10, 155 Strachan Avenue, residential demolition application. We have speakers on this item. Don Allen, are you here? Okay, take a seat. You have 5 minutes. Turn your mic on, please. There we go.
Hello, my name's Don Allen. I'm the owner of 155 Strawn. By way of background, I'm born and raised Torontonian and a strong promoter of our city. I'm the owner of Revolver Films, a Toronto-based production company that's worked internationally since 1983, based here. We've brought people like the Rolling Stones and David Bowie and Lenny Kravitz here to shoot. Worked with the Tragically Hip on their latest documentary. You know, we were recently voted #1 production company in Canada, #5 in the US, and #13 in the world. Thousands of people in the Canadian film and business have got their start at Revolver. Many have asked why I didn't move to LA, which is probably would have helped my career, but I chose to do it from my home, Toronto. And building my new home is why I'm here before you today. I'm presenting the following on behalf of my architect, Jeff Coliati, who is not able to be here today. He's in another hearing. We thank you for your consideration of the demolition application for 155 Strawn Avenue, which forms one part of two three-unit infill projects, precisely the type of gentle density that the city has been encouraging through its housing initiatives. To be clear, the property is semi-detached to 153 Strawn, not 157 Strawn, who are opposing a demolition. Regrettably, we only learned about this last Friday through our zoning examiner that this matter was scheduled for City Council consideration today. Neither has received any formal notice or the opportunity to discuss or clarify concerns raised by the neighbor. If I'd been notified earlier, I gladly would have sought to meet, review the situation, and avoid unnecessary escalation. The neighbor at 157 Strawn has asserted that their home is physically attached to ours. This is not accurate. While some flashing may be connected to the wall, to their wall, their building was constructed decades before the existing semi-detached houses at 155 and 153. Adjoining walls are independent of each other and, most importantly, do not share footings. 157 is a standalone structure along its south side. We've attached dated photographs to support this assertion. The current structure at 155 was built over 60 years after 157, beside it, not attached to it. We fully understand that demolition and new construction can raise concerns. However, the process has been delayed for several months despite rigorous professional oversight. As a licensed architect, I've assembled a team including a group of structural engineers, builders, and real-time vibration monitoring specialists who have all signed the city's commitment to general reviews. We have committed to conducting on-site reviews during all critical stages with our vibration monitor implementing real-time assessments throughout the demolition and sharing process to ensure no adverse impact on neighboring properties. Given these safeguards and the credentials of the professionals involved, it is difficult to understand why our demolition permit continues to be held up by an unsubstantiated claim. It is especially concerning considering these same neighbors did not raise any objections to the demolition during the Committee of Adjustment process, nor did they appeal the approved variances to TLAB. The approved setbacks and condition remain unchanged since that time. This situation has had serious financial implications and caused significant frustration for both myself and my client. We are trying to advance a well-designed, modest intensification project that aligns perfectly with the city's stated goals for more diverse housing options. Additionally, this is holding up the construction of a fully permitted, approved semi-detached neighbor at 153, thereby delaying the addition of 6 multi-bedroom family units to the city's rental inventory. Prolonged delays of this nature discourage responsible infill development and create uncertainty for homeowners who are following due process from retaining qualified professionals. Reached out to the owners of 157 to make them aware that the building department has overseen the architectural and structural elements, and the vibration monitoring specialists were engaged to ensure a smooth transition during demolition and construction. The response was that they were still objecting to it. It's my opinion that their objections have no merit. we genuinely wish to move forward respectfully and collaboratively. We want to assure council that the house has undergone structural assessment by qualified professionals, confirming that demolition can be carried out safely and in accordance with all relevant regulations. Additionally, we're committed to following all recommended safety and cleanup measures. The project aligns closely with the city's...
Okay, your time, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for the deputant? Seeing none. Deputy Malik, this is your item. We're on item 10.
Yeah, thank you very much. I just have a brief question for staff. Are we ready to answer questions? Okay. Well, thank you to the deputant for reaching out to us. As always, we take demolitions and work like this very seriously. So I just want to understand from staff what the engagement has been with neighbors on the site.
Through the chair, there is no public consultation through the demolition process, so there was no consultation with residents unless the applicant wishes to discuss with the residents. I understand they didn't get an opportunity. They said they would have done that. But through the demolition process, there is a building permit ready to be issued. So under the applicable law, the chief building official is required to issue the demolition and the building permit together. There is just this an objection opportunity so that the council can put conditions on the demolition if required.
Sorry, I'm not looking for engagement, just being informed.
Yes. Okay.
So were neighbors informed in any way?
Through the chair, not through the chief building official's office, through posting, which is why there's an objection. Hopefully that answers your question. I apologize.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Those are all my questions, and I'd like to move the staff recommendations.
There are two options, Deputy Mayor Malik.
Oh, sorry.
You mean hold
I don't
it
mean
down?
to hold, yeah, if we want to hold it down,
Okay,
just to,
no
for us
problem.
to.
No problem. I can hold it down. The next item is T 26.11, 501 Palmerston Boulevard, residential demolition application. We do have one speaker on this item. Leonid Kotov.
Yes, hi.
Online. Okay, you have 5 minutes. Go ahead.
Yeah, it won't be that much time. The counselor sent over, my name is Leonid Kotov. I'm the owner of 501 Palmerston. Counselor Sachs has sent over some conditions which she'll be bringing forward. I just want to say her active engagement and guidance and working with us in the community has been really incredible and led to a positive resolution today. I'm okay with all the conditions now, and I'll leave it to you guys to do the vote. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any questions or deputants? Seeing none. Any other speakers? Seeing none. Councillor Sachs, go ahead.
Yes, I have a motion. Thank you. We had a community, it's been quite a bit of concern in the community about changes on Palmerston Avenue and, some discomfort with the arrival of multiplexes as we've approved across the city. So we had a good community meeting yesterday to talk about conditions from the demolition, and they're contained in my motion.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Councillor Matlow.
What is bear art?
No. Bear, as in Carrie?
Oh.
Not bears.
I thought it was like
There must be pictures of bears.
pictures
No,
of
sorry.
bears. Okay, good.
Thank you.
All those in favor of the motion? Opposed? Carried as amended? Oh, that's it? Okay. All right.
Chair, we can.
Okay, we can go back to item T 26.10, 155 Stratton Avenue, residential demolition application. Deputy Mayor Malik, go ahead.
Yes, I'd like to move staff recommendation number 2, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll post it on the screen. All those in favor of item number 2? Opposed? Carried. Wonderful. The next item is T 26.12, 554 and 556 DuPont Street, residential demolition application. We have one speaker on this item. Naomi Margot, are you here? Okay, you have 5 minutes.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me. My name is Naomi Margot. I'm a volunteer board member for the applicant, the Queen City Indoor Tennis Club. I too would like to start off this morning really thanking city staff for helping shepherd us through this application process. You have our application materials and supporting documentation. I don't have anything to add to that, but of course happy to address any questions. We are in full support of the staff recommendation, in particular recommendation number 3 to do the demolition, obviously in compliance with all code requirements, and landscaping sod to better the community after the demolition. I'm here to take any questions, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any questions for Deputy? Being none. Thank you. Councillor Sachs?
Yes, I do want to thank the deputant and the volunteer boards who kept the Queen's Club going all this time. It's not easy to keep a small club. I have a motion. Yeah, did I not say that? I have a motion.
Okay.
Yes, my motion is for recommendation 3. We did have some communication with the club to make sure that this is going to be a grassed area, not paved, and I hope trees as well. So on that basis, sorry to see the houses go, but they're past fixing. So thanks very much.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor of Rec 3? Opposed? Carried.
Thank you.
T 26.13, 1913 to 1915, and 1919 to 1923 Young Street, and 17 and 21 Millwood Road residential demolition. We have speakers in this item. Actually, we do not have speakers on this item. Councillor Matlow.
I have conditions.
Okay, you want to speak to it, or you're good?
I'm moving it.
Okay, moving it. All those in favor of the motion? Opposed? As amended, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay. The next item is T 26.15, 171 Neville Park Boulevard. Application to remove a private tree. We have one speaker on this item. I hate tree items. Sorry, 15. Sean Miller. Sean Miller.
Hi, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. 5 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay. Thanks for your time. I'll be brief. I know you don't like tree requests to remove them, and neither do I, but I do have a, in my opinion, a serious threat tree. It's enormous, big, large red oak that's leaning onto my house, at least on a 45-degree angle, which is hard to see from the arborist report photos that I think that you have. Even this summer, we had 2 large trees fall at my neighbor's property just up the road at 169. We had a similar tree fall on my direct neighbor. Sorry, that was the direct neighbor's 169. And then 2 fell this summer at 197. All very large trees that were considered healthy, and they fell. And the one that fell last summer on my direct neighbor took out the corner of her roof right above her bedroom. So the same slope that mine is on, which is facing my bedroom. And I'm concerned that if it were to fail, it would take out my house completely. I had a arborist report done, and it was very conflicting. They mentioned in the notes, while the likelihood of failure is considered low, the potential consequences are extremely severe to the tree size and proximity to the high occupancy areas. Mature trees can decline rapidly, and early proactive removal is often considered by property owners to reduce the risk. and liability. And I wanted to also note that we've had several arborists come to the street to speak with many of the neighbors who are concerned because apparently, you know, the ravine is eroding and these trees are well past their life expectancy. So they are falling at a rapid rate. And even the ones that do, and like I said, seem to be healthy are falling. So I'm very concerned. You know, I have a 10-year-old daughter. There's lots of kids that play in the ravine. You know, I just want to be proactive. I want to make sure that, you know, there's no risk to my family, to my home, obviously. And I'm happy to, you know, replant whatever is necessary to help regrow the forest. I know that's something that everybody's concerned with. The arborists, like I said, say that all the trees in the forest are well past their life expectancy, and it is urgent that we start replanting the native species because a lot of the trees that are growing in there are not. Yeah, I guess it's affecting the system in there. So I don't know too much about it, but you know, I moved to the street specifically for the beauty and of the forest, and you know, the last thing I want to do is take away a tree. But because of the severity of the slope and the angle, I'm very concerned. You know, and I'll just say one last point. You know, it's easy to say just from visually looking at something that it's okay, but you never really know what's going on down beneath it. You know, I have proof of this. My wife had breast cancer, and her doctor claimed that she was healthy several times, almost before it was too late. So, you know, when somebody says it's healthy and they have no concerns, it's not easy for me to accept that answer. That's all.
Yeah, thank you. Any questions for the deputy? Go ahead, Councilor Bradford, go ahead.
Thanks for the deputation, Sean. Could you just describe the geography of Neville Park, where it is situated as a street, in terms of the topography with Victoria Park to the east?
Yeah, it's a very unique street. Apparently, it used to be a river that ran underneath it. And it's a reverse ravine, so we're kind of in the bottom of a slope. So my backyard is, you know, looks up towards Victoria Park, and then on the other side, the backyards of those homes look up to Kingswood. So we're kind of like in a valley, which is why we're getting such, you know, slopage, and why these trees are starting to fall, because, you know, the land there, I guess, from my understanding, speaking to some of the arborists who have come to visit, is eroding, and that's why these trees, even maybe that are healthy, are just falling over.
So you would describe the slope as a steep slope on both the east and west side of the ravine, and the houses in the street of Neville Park, for my colleagues who have never been there, it's in the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, correct.
So
it's a steep slope.
So where do those large trees, and there's been many over the years, where do those large trees, when they fail, tend to go? Do they go uphill?
Directly onto the houses.
Okay.
You know, even in the arborist report, it says that if it were to fall, it's directly in the path of my house.
Right. Your neighbor tree fell down this summer. We were all out on site. We had Kim, head of forestry department, there with us. What kind of damage was done on that house? How'd your neighbor feel then?
I'm not sure the extent of the damage, but I know that most of the neighbors who live in that little roundabout got together. They're really trying to push to get stuff taken care of, and we've been, you know, from my understanding, stuck in red tape for many years before my arrival to the street. But you know, it's getting to the point where, you know, it's becoming quite dangerous now.
Yeah. One of staff's alternate recommendations is, if the removal permit is granted in this situation for one tree, you are to provide 9 replacement trees. Is that something that you would agree to do?
Oh yeah, with pleasure. I mean, I think, you know, the forest behind us, all around us now, is starting to get quite thin, and the arborists that have come to speak with us as a group have told us that, you know, it's urgent that we start replanting in order to keep the forest there. Otherwise, there's going to be nothing left in a short period of time. It's just going to keep falling.
Right. Okay. Thanks very much for the deputation, Sean.
Thank you.
Thank you. We do have another speaker in the item. Nicole Corrado, are you here online?
Yes, I am here.
Go ahead, 5 minutes.
So what I was trying to say is, I think this tree absolutely should be saved. I'm because I saw the photos, the tree does look healthy, and I know the deputy before was saying, oh, you can't tell by just looking at the tree. This tree's been around for a while. This tree does look sturdy. Trees don't just fall. If the city arborist is saying this tree is healthy, the tree's healthy. The city is not opposed to cutting trees who are going to fall down if the tree is sick and is going to fall in somebody's house. The person does not need to go through city council in order to get an approval. This Neville Park Boulevard, Neville Park Ravine is a home to a lot of wildlife. I'm sure everybody remembers the famous Neville coyote from 2009. And, there's a lot of wildlife, including Neville's descendants, living there. And I think that, the trees do fall eventually. There may be trees in the ravine who have fallen, but trees also grow back. But this tree in particular is very healthy. The tree is a native tree. They're a red oak, and they're very healthy. They don't need to be cut. I think the report said the person is doing renovations or adding an addition to the house. You could design an addition that does not interfere with the tree. This tree is healthy, and I think that if you choose to live somewhere near trees, near wildlife, you have to coexist. And unless you're going to coexist, then you really, maybe should be looking somewhere else to live, because let's face it, this tree's healthy. And what kind of example, this deputy says they have a 10-year-old. Well, what kind of example does it set to a 10-year-old child saying that trees are disposable? If you find them inconvenient, you find them in the way, you can just get rid of them. It doesn't set a good example at all. And children get very attached to trees. Children love trees. I think it would be it's very upsetting to children to see the trees get cut. So I don't think it's in anybody's favor to be cutting this tree. And it's not going to keep anybody safe, because this tree is not going to fall. Trees are often leaning, but they have really strong roots. That's what you're not seeing is the roots underground. And they're leaning to try to get sunlight. But they're incredibly, incredibly strong and sturdy. So I'm completely opposed to cutting this tree, and I'm sure many people in that neighborhood would be opposed to cutting the tree.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for the deputy? No. Okay, thank you. For the deputy? Okay, go ahead, Councillor Bradford.
Thanks for the deputation, Nicole. You mentioned that you're running for mayor in Beaconsfield, Quebec. I was wondering when the last time you were on site at Neville Park, 171 Neville Park.
I've never been there, but I saw pictures of it, and I do remember the story about the coyote from 2009. I used to live in Toronto.
Yes.
I'm actually from Toronto. I moved to Beaconsfield, Quebec 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. But so, and in your time, you live in Quebec now, but in your time in Toronto, you've never actually been to Neville Park Boulevard.
No, I lived in the other end of Scarborough. I lived all the way in near close to Pickering. But I've seen tons and tons of trees because I live near the Rouge Park. Sure. So including trees very similar to the one in question.
And those trees, did they have a similar sort of geography with respect to the steep slope conditions and the ravine placement with a street at the bottom of a ravine? I'm not familiar with a lot of streets like that in Toronto. Out in Rouge Park.
In Scarborough, there certainly were along the Scarborough Bluffs. There certainly were, and no, the trees. I don't recall the trees ever falling on anybody's house or on anybody. It's virtually unheard of.
That's interesting because this has happened numerous times here on this street. Are you familiar with the red oak that fell on a house August 13th of this summer?
No.
Okay. All right, thanks for your deputation.
Thank you. Thank you. Who wants to speak first? Questions of staff. Councilor Perks, go ahead.
Thank you. I've just been reading through the report. So the applicant's own arborist thought that the tree was healthy and maintainable?
Through the chair, the arborist report submitted as part of the application indicated the condition of the tree as fair to good. It also included a level 2 track assessment, which is a risk assessment common for the arboricultural sector.
And found that the tree could be maintained.
Yeah, and staff recommendation in the report in front of you today maintains that the tree is healthy and maintainable, and as such, the permit was denied.
Okay. Further, the staff report says that the lien is due to basically available light, not due to any problems with the slope. You looked at that and that's what you found?
Through the chair, that's correct.
Okay. And it says here, and I don't know what this is about. There were previous reports in November and February on this tree to support a construction-related application. What's that?
So through the chair, we did receive applications in the past for this address. The report in front of you today is not related to construction. It's related to precautionary measure.
But this is the third time that the applicants come to us with an attempt to get a permit to remove this tree.
Through the chair, I believe that's correct.
Okay. And further, your professional opinion is that with proper maintenance, this tree will not fall down. That's what you've said.
Through the chair, through the authorities of the bylaw, staff can deny permits when we believe that the tree is healthy and maintainable.
Okay. And finally, just to be clear, you did not propose any alternative recommendation. You've only got one recommendation, which is to deny the request to remove the tree.
Through the chair, we do offer in appeal reports now an alternative recommendation. It starts on page 3 of this report.
Right, but I'm looking at the recommendations. You don't have a either or. You have a recommendation that you prefer, which is to deny.
Through the chair, that's correct.
Thank you.
Councilor Bradford, go ahead.
Thanks. Appreciate staff's work to investigate this tree, particularly, Kim, the work that we have done many times on this street with similar situations. I spoke about the unique features of Neville Park, the large trees, the steep slopes, and the ecological context. Have there been other significant tree failures on this street in the past 2 years?
Through the chair, yes, we are aware of other tree and limb failures.
Have you been out on the street firsthand to meet with residents and see these significant failures?
Through the chair, yes, I have.
Was there extensive property damage where houses were smashed, fences were destroyed?
Through the chair, I did witness property damage as a result of tree and limb failures on this street.
Now, some of those trees were determined to be healthy and maintainable trees, according to our bylaw, and yet they had catastrophic failure and landed on people's houses.
Through the chair, I think that some of the assessments that had been done from the ground level had assessed trees in the past as healthy and maintainable.
Oh, interesting. So sometimes that's an assessment that's done, and yet we still have catastrophic failure, and these massive trees smash on people's house on Neville Park. That is what's happened.
Through the chair, that we are aware of that, yes.
Oh, interesting, because it's sort of presented like this is a sort of binary thing where you make the assessment and then nothing could ever happen. And yet on Neville Park, 5 times in the past 7 years, we've experienced something very similar.
Through the chair, yes, and through the arboricultural sector, we do indicate that assessments that are done are based on conditions at the time of that inspection, and we recommend ongoing monitoring and maintenance of trees because conditions can change.
Is the city well positioned, particularly with the unique context here of the ravine and the TRCA? Are we well positioned to go in and do active monitoring on all of these large trees here that continue to fail?
So through the chair, this is private property, so we do not have authority on our own, nor would we on our own inspect or monitor these trees. We do so as a result of reviewing applications that are received by the property owners.
Right. And so on that, in this case, the tree risk assessment qualification that the applicant's arborist undertook that's above and beyond the typical assessment process. That's more extensive. Is that correct?
Through the chair, that's correct. A track assessment is not a requirement of a complete application, but it may be of benefit to the applicant to work with a third-party arborist to undertake those assessments. That information can be helpful and relevant for city staff as part of our role, which is to review these applications.
And so you've reviewed it, you've read the track report. Maybe some of my colleagues haven't, but if the tree were to fail, how likely would it be to hit the home? Because I think the report speaks to that.
Yeah, through the chair, it does. So according to the track assessment completed by the third-party arborist of the applicant, it indicates that the likelihood is high.
Right. And how does the report classify the consequences of failure? I think they use a word.
They do, and according to that report, it indicates that the consequences of failure are severe.
So the assessment's not saying that the failure is guaranteed or that's going to happen. It's not talking about the probability, but it does say if the tree were to fail, it would cause significant damage to the home, potentially to individuals inside the home. Is that correct?
So through the chair, that's correct. The report states the likelihood of tree failure is unlikely, and if the tree were to fail, the consequences would be severe.
And when you came out to Neville Park on multiple occasions and met with residents, because this has happened multiple times, would you agree that the conditions there with the fact that Neville Park Boulevard is literally in the bottom of a ravine, former riverbed, and that you have steep slopes on either side, that increases the likelihood of tree failure for those houses to tilt and for those trees to tilt towards the houses and, potentially do some catastrophic damage?
So through the chair, that's correct. The ravine, the features of the ravine in the Neville Park neighborhood include very steep slopes, evidence of the buried creek, and it is dominated by maturing oak species, which is reflective then that the area is regulated by both the Ravine and Natural Feature Protection Bylaw as well as the Toronto Region Conservation Authority regulation limit.
And if you were a councillor sitting out in the West End, it would really be hard to appreciate that context of the site unless you've been on it. I guess my point there is it's important to see the site context to fully appreciate the unique circumstances of Neville Park Boulevard and the ravine that surrounds it.
So through the chair, as many councillors know, we have ravines that run throughout the entire city. Neville Park is unique from that perspective of the development being at the bottom of a buried creek surrounded by steep slopes and dominated by mature oak species.
Sorry,
Thanks for coming out to the site.
Thank you. I do have one question. This particular tree, are you aware of any limbs falling off of that tree?
On this particular tree, through the chair, I'm not aware of any previous failures.
Okay, that's my only question.
I have a question, Chair.
Go ahead, Councillor Bravo.
Thank you. I'm sympathetic to the concerns of the speaker and the local councillors' concern as well. I'd like to understand the question of frequency of monitoring. How does that work? Who bears the cost? And how frequent would monitoring have to take place? And finally, the point that the chair has just raised, how significant is limb falling as an indicator of potential threat?
So through the chair, this is private property, so the responsibility and as such, the cost would be borne by the property owner. In terms of the question related to severity of limb failures or indications related to the tree, of course that would be specific to any particular case. The report in front of Community Council today indicates based on the review of the applicant's application and staff review on site, that the tree is healthy and maintainable, and as such, we've denied the application, and it's here today because the applicant appealed the decision.
Thank you.
Okay, speakers on the item, Councillor Bradford.
Thanks. I'm going to move the alternative recommendations, Mr. Chair. I'm going to do that with thanks and gratitude to Kim and her team. They've spent a lot of time working with this community at Neville Park Boulevard. She herself has been on site multiple times with her staff. Sometimes it's been nice out, sometimes it's been pouring rain. She's there, and that's because The site conditions here are unique, and we have had catastrophic failures of trees that are reaching end of life because they have a lifespan, like all of us, and present as healthy trees. But the soil conditions, the embankments, the challenges of the fact that this is TRCA, both private property and, you know, the residents are trying to wrap their heads around this and maintain a healthy canopy that doesn't have catastrophic consequences. This is, and that is what we have seen, colleagues, 7 times over the past 5 years. You guys haven't been there. I've been there. Councillor Perks hasn't been there. You haven't been on Neville Park Boulevard meeting with these residents. You haven't. And so you're going to sit there from Parkdale High Park and tell these folks and try and push the vote to reject this. No, I can say this. Okay, well, Mr. Chair, my colleague is going to sit over there from Parkdale High Park and try and...
To speak to the item.
Yeah, well, I'm speaking to what he's going to speak to next.
No, just speak to your motion.
So it's a beautiful street. It's at the bottom of a ravine. I don't know, there's probably a 60 meter difference, maybe 70, from the bottom of the street up to the top, maybe more. And it's a steep slope. And so as a guy who's done some forestry work over the years in a previous life, and even staff when they come out, their hands are tied by the way this bylaw is written. But it doesn't mean that they don't understand the challenges with this old failing stock. And in this instance, the challenges can be catastrophic. People's houses are being smashed, they're being destroyed, and it could be worse. We are so fortunate, frankly, that we haven't had a serious injury or loss of life. Because when you have tons, and I mean tonnage, of wood coming down unexpectedly with a catastrophic failure, because it's not sitting there presenting as dead, but they fail. Lives could be at risk in this situation. That is not hyperbole. Come out to the street and see it. Come out to the street and see these trees that are failing and smashing buildings. And God forbid if there was ever anyone in the backyard. The last one went through a patio table. You know where people sit? At the table on their patio. Come see it, colleagues from the West End. Come on out. So, yeah, am I fired up about it? Yes, because these debates are ridiculous. And you know what? I know what's going to happen today. And I think it's abhorrent. And there's an opportunity here to work on replacing the canopy with trees at the beginning of their life to help improve soil stability, slope stability by getting those trees in the ground now. I could tell you, these big ones with their root balls that are just being ripped out of the ground, that's not doing it. And the fact that it keeps happening over and over, people aren't removing the trees. It's self-selection. It's end of life. That's how the trees are coming down. But when they come down at Neville Park Boulevard with a 70-meter difference from the top of the slope, they come down on houses, they come down on patio tables, and God forbid they come down on people. So, like, back the local councillor who's been out to the site time after time after time, not the guy from a position of, you know, self-righteous moral authority over in the West End. Back the guy who's been there with the staff who understand that they are bound by the bylaw, but also appreciate what those residents on Neville Park are dealing with. Thank you, colleagues.
I'll speak to this next. Okay, I'm going to speak. There are trees all across the city, not just in the West End. I live in Cabbagetown, and we have many, many trees there. Downtown trees. There are trees all over the city, you know. And I myself experienced something similar the last year, where I have a 100-year-old. My neighbor has a 100-year-old tree in the backyard, which spans 10 homes, and a limb of those. And it was assessed by an arborist year after year, and last year one of the limbs fell and caused over $10,000 damage to my property, and I don't know how much it cost the neighbors. There are many children. One of the properties do have a pool. This past summer, we have actually have asked all families not to go into the backyards because we don't know what's coming down next, including my own home. Like, I'm going to use my own backyard. Finally, it was assessed again this year, and finally we had the tree removed just about a month ago. And now everyone's in the backyard. So again, I'm speaking as a person who've experienced this and who have seen people traumatized by it. This is why when this discussion started, I said, I hate talking about trees because they're all very unique to different people who experience it. And for me, I actually love trees, and that's why I live where I do, because there's a lot of mature trees in and around my own property still. So for that reason, and for others who I believe it's important to listen to the local councillor who is on the ground and who experiences these things on a daily basis, I will support Councillor Bradford for that reason. Councillor Perks, go ahead.
Thank you. I'm going to be moving the staff recommendation, which is to deny the permit. These are hard issues and feelings run high, and I get that. I want to make sure that we characterize the legal situation correctly, though. The city's bylaws for tree removal and the ravine bylaws do not say we keep the trees up indefinitely. Rather, they say that if an assessment of the tree shows that it's unhealthy or there's an unreasonable risk, then the tree is removed. And we create a circumstance where a tree that's potentially going to be a risky one, we can continue to do assessments, or the private property owner can continue to do assessments. What we don't do is remove trees just because a tree nearby fell. What we don't do is remove trees just because a local councillor feels like it. We remove trees when there's a real risk, when they're no longer healthy and no longer maintainable. I encourage you to actually read what the staff report says, because the staff report does not say, as was implied, that, we'd love to remove this tree, but the law won't let us. Rather, what it says is that the tree is healthy, that any lien that's there is due not to soil instability, but rather due to the way the canopy works and the access to light. Further, the staff report says that if you start to remove trees which are healthy, like this one is, then you further destabilize the bank. And this is an important thing to remember. As a councillor with a lot of ravines and valleys in his ward, because I have neighborhoods that run between High Park and the Humber River, with slopes similar to this one, and I do know this area because I used to live not far from there. I've been on this street, not in a while, but I know it. And I know about slopes and trees. This is work I used to be involved in too. If you just start removing any tree that's past a certain age, the root network becomes insufficient to hold the bank, and the bank washes out, causing property damage to the properties below. You require actual knowledge of how ecosystems work and how the role of trees in stabilizing banks work, which is why we rely on our professional staff and why we encourage property owners to bring in their own arborists. And in both cases, they've said the risk is low and that with proper maintenance, this tree can be kept healthy. And if folks want to plant new trees in areas to help make that bank more stable, let's participate in doing that. But let's not put the bank at risk because feelings are running high. Let's make sure we're doing what people who are paid to understand these things and have professional credentials are recommending that we do, which is to keep some of the mature trees, the ones that are healthy and maintainable, in place to help stabilize that bank, protect the canopy, and prevent all of the different bad consequences that are the reason why we have our ravine bylaw, our tree bylaw, and why TRCA always recommends using ecological measures to stabilize banks. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Perks. Any other
Chair,
speakers? Go ahead, Councillor Bravo.
Thank you. I am, this is a very difficult one. On the one hand, I think that there's real anguish here, and the examples cited by the local councillor are compounding I have a couple of things to say. I think in the line of question from one of my colleagues asking how many times the same applicant had come, I don't think that should be held as a decision point with respect to my colleague, Councillor Perks, because there may be good reasons for people to come forward repeatedly. I think that the potential severity of the damage is also something to consider. It's in the staff report. Where I think I'm most concerned, and where I'm torn in favor of supporting the staff here, has to do with the point that Councillor Perks made about the route network and the unintended impact in this context of the failure of, in terms of what's sustaining actually the embankment there, and the potential for property damage should that fail. So from my perspective, the most salient point here is that the applicant's own arborist said that it was a healthy tree. So I agree with Councillor Bradford that there needs to be more clarity with respect to the bylaws governing these decisions, and I know that that review is underway. So while it happens, I think we should be cautious, and there is no alternative proposed here as a recommendation. So with really, I just want to indicate that I'm really torn and will be supporting the staff report. It's not a lack of care. Councillor Bradford talked about people on the West End giving opinions. I think that we have similar situations, although I don't have any ravines in my ward. It's out of we each apply our own tests to how we make decisions, and I wanted to explain what my thinking was. It is not that we lack of care in the situation.
Thank you, Councillor Bravo. Seeing no other speakers on the item, I'm going to ask that we put up Councillor Bradford's motion. Recorded vote.
All those in favor? Councillor Bradford, Councillor Matlow, Councillor Moyes, all those opposed? Councillor Bravo, Councillor Perks, and Councillor Sachs. Sorry, Deputy Mayor Malik. Sorry, I didn't see you. Thank you. So that loses. Thank you.
Okay, so that makes the other one redundant, right? So, okay. Staff's recs? You want a recorded vote, Councillor Perks? No? Okay, just a show of hand. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. All right. The next item is TE 26.16. 34 Tubman Avenue application for fence exemption. That's mine. I'm going to defer this item to the next meeting. I think staff has a motion. All those in favor of deferral to the next meeting? Opposed? Carried. I'm going to go to item T 26.25, advancing local infrastructure improvements in Liberty Village in advance of FIFA World Cup 2026. Councillor Deputy Mayor Malik, you held that item down, item 25, the FIFA item.
Yes, we're just, I just got the review from transportation staff, so we just need a few more moments on that one. If you can, but I have another item that I can...
Item 33, Adelaide Street West and Portugal Square, always stop control.
Yes, thank you. I just want to speak briefly to this one.
Okay, go ahead.
I just want to share My thanks for the recommendations coming forward. My team and I have been working closely with the local community, residents, with stakeholders such as St. Felix Center to ensure that we're making our streets as safe as possible in the Niagara neighborhood, especially with families nearby in close proximity to St. Mary's School and to the church. And my office was really, it was important to us to be working closely with staff and to reflect back the concerns of the community to move this forward. And I'm glad to support the staff recommendation. Thank you to everyone.
Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Councilor Fletcher. T 26.39, dedication of lands as public highway and traffic amendments, Lakeshore Boulevard. That was held. Was that by you, Councilor Fletcher? Item 39? I think. Item 39, I think you held that down.
I'm just going to ask a question there, please.
Okay, go ahead.
Staff question?
Yep.
That's a small piece of land that is owned by Create TO, correct? And I think it's only Ward 14, it's not Ward 10. North side of Lakeshore.
Through the
east
chair,
of
that's
the Don
correct.
Valley exit.
Regarding the land conveyances, that's from Create TO. The stretch of road under consideration does extend into Ward 10 because it includes the bridge across the Don River.
Oh, it includes the bridge across the Don River. Okay, thank you. But the part I'm very interested in is the developable part. That is the Don Roadway and Lakeshore. Has that been taken under consideration as far as the impact? How many acres is that little slice of land, and how many are you giving away here?
Apologies, I don't have the numbers available to me right now in terms of the area of the lands. Those are along the north side of Lakeshore Boulevard, only as needed to accommodate the public realm that's under construction, including sidewalks and trails. So
it's already under construction?
That's correct.
And there's also the linear path that's there. Is that moved up closer?
Yeah, that's correct. Part of the construction includes enhanced public realm along
The linear
Boulevard
path
East.
that was built when the Gardner was removed.
That's correct.
And are you doing the Gardner project?
Yes, I am.
So the Gardner was to extend public realm all the way to the complete old Gardner area. And I'm not sure that's happened. Is that part of your thinking? No, separate question. I'll come and see you after. Chair, I had moved staff recommendations, but what I'd like to do, I'm just going to let the clerk know. I'd just like to send this without a recommendation, please, clerk. So I can establish the size, the site, how it's affecting the whole public realm, and what promises were made or how that came in, and what else was supposed to have happened on Lakeshore regarding public realm, and how this affects our piece of land for future housing.
Okay, thank you. Any other speakers on the item? Seeing none. You want to have the motion ready? Refer to council without recommendation.
Thank you.
All those in favor of the item? Opposed? Carried. Okay, we're going to go to the next item, which is item T 26.57, Kensington Orphan Lanes. We have one speaker in the item, Nicole Corrado from Quebec. Are you still here with us? Are we in the same time zone? Nicole, are you still here? Going one? Going twice? Okay, I won't see her. We'll move on. Okay, Councilor Sachs, this is your item.
Yes, I'm moving the recommendations.
Okay, all those in favor? Those carried. We go to the new item, item 60, Councillor Bradford's item. I don't have the wording in front of me. You want to post it maybe? Or read it out or something? Okay, this speed hump, Denvale Road traffic calming speed hump. Any speakers on the item? Seeing none. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Okay, let's go back to the top of the page. Item TE 26.5, 1099 Broadview Avenue official plan and zoning bylaw amendment. I believe Councilor Fletcher spoke to this already. Yes, I think we had a motion.
Pardon? Not ready yet.
Is not ready? Sorry, was that
Sorry,
the one
just
where?
sort that out. Thank you.
Item number 5.
1099 Broadview.
No worries.
Is there anything else to do outside of that, Chair?
It's coming. The staff has received it.
Yes, I understand.
Okay, go to the next item then?
Yeah.
1 second.
We're just waiting for them to prepare that. Thanks for your patience.
Okay, we'll go to item 8. T 26.8, 36 Prince Arthur Avenue alterations to designated heritage property under Section 42 of the Interior Heritage Act. Councilor Sachs.
I'm moving the recommendations.
Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Can we go to 25 yet? Okay, item 5. Okay, back to the 1099 Broadview Avenue visual plan and zoning bylaw amendment application. Okay, there's the motion. All those in favor of deferral till the next meeting? Opposed? Carried. Okay. Item 25, is that ready? Okay. I think that's the only item we have left. It's okay. That's the only item we have left, right? Okay, looks ready to me here. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you very much. I have a motion. I want to thank staff for the report and the continued work with my office. And while we know that sidewalks are usually bundled with other road work, with this very significant event coming up where Liberty Village will be the front door of our hosting of the FIFA World Cup next year, some of the basic infrastructure that's lacking in the neighborhood does impact our capability to host the games well, and also to have a really excellent legacy in the neighborhood of infrastructure improvements. This work continues to move forward to allow us to align those timeframes as per my direction from last year. We know that some challenges have been uncovered in our undertaking to install segments of those permanent sidewalks on the west side of the neighborhood, and this motion looks to continue to keep that work on track, to accelerate it to meet those timelines, and for us to stay up to date on that work.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Malik. All those in favor of the amendment? Opposed? Carried. As amended, that's it? We're all good? Okay, great. We just have to get these bills done. That bills 1169 to 1198, bills 1237 to 1249, bills 1255 to 1271, and bills 1273 prepared for the October 22nd, 2025 meeting 26 of the Toronto and East York Community Council be declared as bylaws as passed subject to section 226.9 of the City of Toronto Act 2006. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. That confirmatory bills to confirm the legislative proceedings of the Toronto and East York Community Council acting under delegated authority at meeting 26 on October 22nd, 2025 be declared as bylaws and passed subject to section 226.9 of the City of Toronto Act 2006. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you to staff. Thank you to my colleagues. Thank you for all those who joined us today, and have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you.